to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our Monday, May 6th school board meeting. Before we begin, I just would like to give a special shout out to our assistant superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda. She put together a YouTube video that was called Proposed Indiana Diploma Changes. And sometimes we hope to get a few views. She has received over 45,000 views. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Veracco for agenda approval, deletions, and additions.
Thank you. Seek board approval. Is it on?
I think you're on.
Thank you. Seek board approval for the agenda that you received in your packets last week.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second.
second by Mr. Marshall. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any correspondence this evening, Mrs. Kelly?
There is not.
All right, we're going to forego our liaison committee updates and move right into our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Veracco.
Thank you again for our official school board consent agenda. Seek board approval for the minutes from our special board meeting on Thursday, April 11th, our executive session on Monday, April 15th, our regular board meeting on Monday, April 15th, and then approval of the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures you received in your packets last week.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. There's no public comments regarding action items, so we'll go right into our official school board business topics regular agenda. Dr. Veracco.
Thank you again. And for our first item this evening, it is one of those bittersweet nights for Lake Central as we first honor our retirees for 23-24 school year. Many people that have put their heart and soul into helping the students that we all serve, and we are going to recognize them here in a moment and give them a little going away, and Mrs. Castaneda is going to read some comments while the board and I assemble down front to thank them one last time for all they've done.
Ready? All right, our first retiree is Beverly Bovard from Lake Central High School. The always endearing Mr. Fred Rogers once said, "Often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else." Today we celebrate a successful career in teaching, and we wish exciting new beginnings to French teacher Mrs. Bev Bovard. Bev has served the Lake Central students for more than 11 years. Mrs. Bovard always encouraged a French connection by converting her classroom into a language lab where kids could participate in projects like cavern drawings to explore the history and geographical makeup of France, as well as making crepes in order to experience its popular cuisine. French Circle not only welcomed her world language students, but invited all Lake Central students to enjoy the French culture and language. Bev has always been willing to create these activities to highlight the positive aspects of developing a global perspective. Ms. Bovard's impact on the French program is most appreciated, and we are grateful for her years of service and dedication to our school community. We now wish her a new journey of blissful experiences in retirement. Thank you so very much for being a positive light to our students at Lake Central High School. Our next retiree is Gloria Brumley from Transportation. Gloria has been employed with the Lake Central School Corporation for 11 years. She started on bus 65 as an aide with Miss Renee, then transferred to bus 54 with Miss Kathy. She always enjoyed interacting with the students on her bus. She is ready to spend time with her grandchildren and travel with her son and daughter. She is a huge Bears and University of Michigan fan and looks forward to spending time with her family and shopping with her sister. Our next retiree is Joyce Davis from Central Office. Joyce has been an incredibly valuable member of our Central Office family. She has always been reliable, efficient, well-organized, and willing to take on a new or challenging project with enthusiasm. Her perpetual smile, kindness, and sense of humor have been such a positive force in our office. One of her coworkers, Kathy Pedersen, shared that she has known Joyce for quite some time, but little did she know how close their friendship would become. She considers her a very dear friend who always brought a smile to everyone's face, had a quick wit about her, and was willing to lend an ear. Another coworker, Val Voss, shared that she was hired as Joyce's replacement when Joyce moved from curriculum to HR. It did not take her long at all to realize that there is no such thing as a replacement for Joyce. She is the type of person you are very lucky to cross paths with in life, a heart of gold, an inspiration on how to navigate life with strength and courage, and an amazing advice giver. Val said her sound advice is as consistent as the chicken she would eat every day for lunch. We are all forever grateful for Joyce's support, guidance, and positivity. We all miss you each and every day and hope your retirement is full of great Peloton rides, time with your beautiful granddaughter, Blue Angels, and endless happiness. Michelle Fertig from Coling. Michelle Fertig is retiring. She is first a paraprofessional from Coling, and then after 27 years of service, she spent 22 of those in the Coling Library. Mrs. Fertig looks forward to spending her retirement with her husband, Ned, and her 5 grandkids, Aubrey, Hannah, Elijah, Riley, and Alexa. Mrs. Fertig also looks forward to finally starting her vegetable garden. As the Coling librarian, Mrs. Fertig was responsible for the circulation of roughly 1,000 books weekly, greeted students off buses each morning during bus supervision, coordinated events for students with the public library, provided fun virtual reading opportunities throughout the pandemic that brought staff and students together, held various contests with students each year to get them excited about reading, taking reading to the parks with the summer Unimobile, and kept an exhilarating library with fresh and popular titles. She was untiring in her efforts and was always willing to perform whatever she was asked. She will truly be missed. Nancy Forsyth from Bibbich. Nancy is completing 25 years with Lake Central this year. She started at Holman as a lunchroom supervisor in September of 1999. In August of 2007, she transferred to Bibbich as a playground supervisor. In June 2012, she took a position as a paraprofessional at Bibbich. She is ridiculously great at car duty. Nancy is famous for her delicious veggie pizza. She always jumped into new opportunities with a smile on her face, even working with students with the highest needs. Her children went through Bibbich as students, and one even works at Bibbich now, and her grandchildren are starting at Bibbich as well. While Bibbich won't be the same without Nancy, we know she has 2 special little grandkids who can't wait to spend more time with her. Lisa Giglio from Holman Elementary. Lisa's manager, Lori Smith, can't believe 28 years have gone by so quickly. Lori stated, "I liked Lisa the first day I met her, always friendly and kind. We worked together for many years at Grimmer. We cooked and wrapped hundreds of burgers, tacos, Bosco sticks each day without hesitation. We were a team. Lisa and I laughed and had many good times. We became the best of friends. It was so nice getting to work with Lisa, my partner, side by side the last 2 years at Holman. The Holman staff wish Lisa the best in her retirement years. It won't be the same without you, and you will be truly missed." Annette Hayes, Grimmer Middle School. Annette has worked at many schools and in many roles in food service over her 25 years. She has been an outstanding employee. Over the years, you could find Annette serving the students, working with the food, and also managing a cafeteria. Annette always worked hard and was dedicated to the students and getting them fed every day. Debbie Caldwell, Grimmer Operations Manager, said, "The Grimmer staff will miss her and all the experience and dedication she brought to the team. We wish all the best to Annette in her next chapter." Mark Kohani, Grimmer Middle School. Mark has worked at Grimmer for over 40 years. Grimmer is a 50-year-old building. One of the reasons it has durably lasted so well is because of the maintenance that Mark has dedicated himself to since 1981. We are grateful to Mark for his loyalty and steadfast commitment to Grimmer, and we wish him all the best in retirement. Borka Konchalovich, Bibich. Borka began working at Lake Central in October of 1993, 30 years ago. She retired in September of 2023 and spent her last day being showered with love from the students and staff at Bibich. Borka is great at anything she does. She gives great marriage advice, was a remark. I need to hear some of that. Was a remarkable cook, particularly of Serbian dishes, and has an amazing work ethic. Borka's laugh is contagious, and while we are happy she is enjoying retirement with her family, we certainly miss her at Bibich. Yvonne Makarowski at Transportation. Yvonne began her ELSI career in May of 1988 and ended her career in August of 2023. She subbed for 2 months and then was contracted and began driving bus number 5. She then went on to drive buses 20, 68, 65, and her final bus prior to retirement was bus number 50. Yvonne enjoyed driving very much and is still kept in contact with some of her kids following her retirement. Although Yvonne has mentioned that she sometimes misses driving, she is being kept very busy with her grandchildren, which is the best job there is. We wish you all the best in retirement. Kim Masner at Central Office. Kim was a dedicated member of the Lake Central Student Services Office for many years. Kim was extremely efficient and always made sure that student data was accurate. Staff members could always count on her gentle reminders to make sure all paperwork was submitted on time. Kim was an integral part of the special education sports program and volunteered her time to support the athletes at practices and events. We miss Kim, but we know she is enjoying time with her family. Denise McNamara, Bibich. Denise was hired in December of 2007 at Bibich as a cafeteria assistant. She switched over to being a paraprofessional at Bibich in August of 2009. Denise did an amazing job with bus duty daily, rain or shine. She was dedicated to our students and always willing to help the staff. Bibich will miss her lively and humorous personality at our school events. Teresa Morawski, Transportation. Teresa began her ELSI career in 2009. She first came to Lake Central with the idea of becoming a school bus driver, but partway through her training, she was offered an aide position and decided that was the position that best suited her. She began on bus 60 and was on that bus for about 2.5 years. Bus 59 became available and she applied for and got the new position. Her first driver was named Maria, but her second and final driver was Judy, with whom she worked for approximately 13 years. Teresa made the difficult decision to stop being a contracted bus aide, but still stays on in a substitute position. Since retiring from full-time bus aiding, she is fortunate to spend time with her grandson, walking her dogs and catching up on reading. Laura Peters, Central Office. Laura Peters was the heart and soul of the Lake Central Student Services Office. Laura made sure that student records were maintained and supported families and students as they worked to access services in and outside of Lake Central. Her calm demeanor could put even the most anxious parent at ease as she addressed questions and concerns. Staff members relied heavily on Laura for information about caseloads, IEPs, and a million other things. She seemed to always know the answer to even the most difficult questions. Laura always made time in her day to talk with students and join in with fun classroom activities. We wish Laura well in her retirement. May it be filled with warm cups of coffee and good books. Laura Pintler, Lake Central High School. Laura has been a hardworking, dedicated employee in food service for almost 30 years. Wendy Livingston said she had the pleasure of working with Laura the last 9 years as a partner managing the high school kitchen. I could always count on her to be my right hand. Not only was Laura Wendy's high school management partner, but she became a good friend as well. Wendy and the high school staff will miss her dearly. Wendy stated, "We all had the great pleasure to work with her, and we wish her all the best for her retirement." Sandy Pizek, Watson. Sandy served Watson School as a paraprofessional for many years. Sandy was always willing to lend a hand and would do anything for students and staff. She loved to work with our students and always showed kindness to all. We wish Sandy a happy and healthy retirement. Lori Rosine Clark. William Shakespeare wrote, "Be not afraid of greatness," and this simple yet profound line can apply to Lori Rosine as a teacher, colleague, and friend. When a coworker started their first year of teaching, Lori was her mentor and coached and counseled in a way that was compassionate, practical, and uplifting. Lori's students are really the luckiest at Clark. Lori lives by the creed that great learning can be accomplished through fun engagement, and her students are living proof of that. The exciting lessons that she pioneered, she also shares, enriching the experience of students far beyond her own four walls. Lori is a generous colleague, a passionate teacher, and a truly great friend. Lori's positive and supportive feedback on teaching, as well as observations of her masterful work in the classroom, inspired many to become a teacher just like her. She continued to support many other teachers with her innovative ideas throughout the years, her positive attitude, her kindness, and overall love of her craft. Lori's influence on her coworkers and students over the years will continue to reverberate well into the future, and we wish her all the best in her new adventure. Linda Shingle, Grimmer. Linda has served Lake Central at multiple schools at Watson and Grimmer and in multiple positions as both a paraprofessional and as a custodian. Linda comes to work each day with a smile on her face. She always has a pleasant word, even if she's cleaning up some messes that the rest of us would prefer to avoid. We are grateful for Linda's time at Grimmer and wish her all the best in retirement. Kendall Smith, Lake Central High School. Kendall Smith is one of the most successful AP teachers Lake Central has seen since he joined the team in 1999. His AP scores are always miles above the national average. His hard work and dedication to his craft and students is to be commended. He seems to always be here burning the candle at both ends. He is one of the first to arrive and the last to leave. He has helped mold the minds of some of our brightest students. Those bright minds have attended schools such as Harvard, MIT, and Rose-Hulman, to name a few. Kendall has also pushed our female science students to excel and become our future engineering leaders by sponsoring the Women in Science and Engineering Club. While leading these young women, he has nurtured their love of science and engineering. Kendall has not only helped teach science, but also assisted with the World Language Department by teaching German to our students. He has brought his love and passion of the German culture and shared it with all of us. LC will definitely miss his passion and expertise in both science and German. We hope he enjoys retirement and spends quality time with his brother traveling the country of Germany. Thank you for everything you have brought to Lake Central. You will be missed. Kim Taliber, Watson. Kim is retiring from LC with 28 years of service. Kim has been an invaluable asset to the Watson Elementary School office, serving as our bookkeeper. Her dedication, organization, and infectious laughter have left a mark on all who know her. Kim's attention to detail has ensured smooth operations within the Watson office. Her warmth and humor have welcomed countless visitors and staff members and students to Watson. We wish Kim all the best in her retirement, and we hope she has many exciting adventures in the future. Karen Tarrant Protzman. We have very mixed emotions on the retirement of Karen Tarrant. While we are happy for her to begin her new journey, she has really been the heart and soul of Protzman for many years. She began her career at Watson as a lunchroom aide in 2001, and then she moved on to the Freshman Center before coming to Protzman in May of 2005. It is impossible to list all the things that Karen does each day, from arranging substitutes to balancing the books, to purchasing, unpacking, and organizing materials, to working and reworking schedules on a daily basis. But most of all, Karen's love of working with the staff is apparent each and every day. She has a resounding laugh and a great sense of humor. We will all miss her very much, and she will always be a Protzman Panther. Judy Tozek, Watson. Judy Tozek is retiring from LC with 27 years of service. She has been an integral part of the Watson family for many years, serving as the library clerk. Judy has sparked a love for reading in the hearts of many students. Her dedication to spreading the joy of reading will be missed. Judy has left a lasting legacy at Watson by obtaining a book vending machine for all of our students to continue to enjoy. And from Elena Ahrens, she said, "You have been my North Star since I started in this position in 2010. To say you will be missed is to completely understate the value, the knowledge, the joy, and the heart that you bring to Watson's library and to all levels of Lake Central's library program. You will leave enormous and joyous shoes to fill at Watson, and your impact will be felt for years to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your 27 years of service." Kim Udich, Holman. Kim has been a part of Lake Central for 28 years and a huge part of our Holman family. She has taught multiple grade levels, and at each one, she consistently has shown her love and dedication to students and learning. Her teachings and impact will always remain in the hearts of her students. In addition to teaching, Kim has been a student council representative at Holman for many years. She has used her gardening talents with the students to beautify the outside area of Holman and keep it looking fresh and inviting. Kim has always wanted to have a mural painted on the blank playground wall, and she, along with high school art students, is making that happen before she leaves Holman. We want to wish Kim the best in her retirement. She has dedicated so much of her life to kids, and now it is time for her to do the things that she loves. We will miss you, Kim, but we are so happy for you. Enjoy every minute. We love all that you did. Now go and do all that you love. Becky Villa, Watson. Becky is retiring from her paraprofessional position with a total of 35 years of experience. For the past 24 years, Watson has been lucky enough to have her on staff. Becky is a hardworking paraprofessional who regularly goes above and beyond. Her dedication and kindness has made a lasting impression on our Watson community. We hope that retirement is filled with joy, relaxation, and time with family and friends. Paul Volk, Lake Central High School. Paul has been teaching art at Lake Central High School for 26 years. He has always been very dedicated to his students, encouraging them to reach their highest potential as an artist. This included traditional classwork plus challenges to individual students to include their own original thoughts and ideas in their art. There have been numerous instances where students came to Mr. Volk with some pretty outlandish ideas from YouTube or Pinterest, and he would patiently look things over and say, "I think we can make this work." He was often available both before and after school, making sure that his students were able to complete their projects, focusing on quality and individuality. Mr. Volk did more than just teach at Lake Central High School. He was a big contributor to our school culture, recognizing all students in the building. He worked with the History Club to help run the Veterans Day Assembly and designed the Lake Central War Memorial. Mr. Volk took charge of honoring famous African Americans with portraits scattered around the school during the month of February. Mr. Volk and his students created a living sculpture that contained the flags honoring various causes near the main entrance. As an educator, Mr. Volk has assisted students in becoming better caretakers of the arts and creating lifelong learners. One of his high school co-workers tells a story about how he struggled to come up with a design for a house project. His daughter took over and completed the design in about 15 minutes. He looked at her and asked her where did she learn to do that. She responded, "Mr. Volk." Paul is always willing to lend a hand with anything that they do at Lake Central High School. We know he is looking forward to his next adventure and the opportunity to do his own artwork. We wish him well and hope for nothing but the best.
Smile like you like each other.
Smile like you're retired.
Teachers don't follow directions very well.
Okay, you gotta look up there now.
Thank you for arranging my last year part-time committee. Appreciate it.
We're going to start. Okay, we have one more nice ceremony here before we get on to the really interesting board business, and that is to talk about our finalists and Teachers of the Year, and I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Castaneda for those introductions.
Thank you. We're going to start with our nominees. Bob Gustis from Clark Middle School. Bob is constantly looking to improve his teachings to better serve his students. This year, he jumped feet first into building thinking classrooms, and his students have been flourishing. He uses data, student feedback, and in-class observations to improve his usage of building thinking classrooms. Bob has also opened up his classroom for any staff members to come in and observe. He even ran a session for staff in his room so that they could participate in the building thinking classrooms atmosphere themselves. Aside from him striving to always do best by his students, Bob has a personality and drive that students respond positively to. He has supported students as a running coach in the past and continues to dedicate significant time as director of Clark Theatrical Performances. Tina Ostrom, Watson Elementary. Tina has worked with ELL students in almost every elementary building in our district. She epitomizes flexibility and resourcefulness as she communicates with dozens of teachers and numerous administrators regarding students from culturally diverse backgrounds. She builds relationships with all students and makes learning a new academic language enjoyable for our youngest learners. She always attempts to involve the families of English language learners by hosting a separate night to explain the programs offered at our school. Not only is she great with these presentations, she is great with all forms of communication. Her detailed emails explain everything parents may need to know about an upcoming event, whether it is an in-person discussion, a phone call, a video Google Meet, or hosting an in-person meeting. Tina will accommodate her fellow staff members with a smile on her face. She goes out of her way to demonstrate how to adjust assignments and assessments for our students. Tina Ostrom is very deserving of this nomination. Kim Udich, Homan Elementary. Kim goes above and beyond every day. Kim sees each student as an individual and really treats each student uniquely. Kim does many projects with her students in order to enrich their education. Kim has been the student council sponsor for many years at Homan. She works with all students to bring a sense of citizenship and goodwill to Homan. These students do wonderful things for the community, such as collecting donations for the less fortunate and visiting nursing homes at Christmas. Most importantly, Kim is an amazing coworker and even more amazing human who is an integral part of our team at Homan. Kim has taught at the Lake Central School Corporation for 28 years. We're not sure how we are going to survive without her daily advice, positive affirmations, and general support for our students and teachers and staff. And then our first winner for Teacher of the Year is Christina Collard from Lake Central High School. Christina is an amazing educator who stepped up to the plate when her coworker was down with medical issues this past fall. While teaching publications design, digital photography, introduction to broadcast, and advising the LCTV staff of over 40 students, she took over advising the yearbook staff while her peer was absent. Without her, Lake Central might not have had a yearbook this year. On top of publications, Christina is also the NTEAM sponsor, student dance sponsor, and union representative. She puts in countless hours doing fun service activities each month with NTEAMs, like painting rocks, making flower pots, writing letters, and making lasagna to donate to those in need. She has brought tremendous enthusiasm to Winter Formal and has organized a teacher car wash during Teacher Appreciation Week. Since she returned to her alma mater, Christina has been a breath of fresh air and an amazing contributor to the success of our students. Congratulations, Christina, on being the Lake Central Co-Teacher of the Year. And our other Co-Teacher of the Year is Betsy Schultz from Homan Elementary. Betsy Schultz is the Homan PE teacher, but she is so much more than that. She is not only an advocate for all students, but also for all staff members across the district. She promotes a positive working and learning environment. She has something positive to say about every situation and approaches her job with a glass half full perspective. Mrs. Schultz goes above and beyond to make gym class more exciting and enjoyable for our children. Since becoming our PE teacher, she has fostered a love for learning in the gym. She has brought pickleball, mini golf, gaga ball, roller skating, and much more to her classes. Many of these experiences have been introduced to the students for the very first time and sparked an interest in them that have them continuing to participate in it outside of school. She implemented an incentive for students to learn to tie their shoes, as well as a Golden Sneaker Award for excellent class behavior. Betsy was super motivational during the Wellness Walking Challenge and really brought our staff together by sending weekly emails. She helps run assemblies that also promote positive behavior and school spirit. She probably does more than any of us realize, but does it without the expectation of anything in return. In my opinion, there is no one more deserving of this award than Mrs. Schultz. Congratulations, Betsy.
Taking a picture? Thank you all for coming out and celebrating with us.
and we appreciate the support you've given your spouses, parents, friends, because these are hard jobs, and so you supporting them helps us support our kids. So we're going to continue with our board meeting, but if you need to get on to other things, we understand. This is a good time to exit stage or back left or right.
Okay. Will you pass these down to Howard, please?
Jump it in.
Go ahead. It's like we're passing notes.
Okay, moving on with the rest of our agenda then. My third item this evening is just to let the board know that I did send a press release to the local newspapers regarding the ISB recognition that you all received at the recent regional meeting back in the middle of April in Maryville. And so I don't know if it's hit yet, but you do have a copy of that in your packet, I believe. And just for the public to know, boards get recognized. We were one in the top 24% of the state that get recognized for attending professional development activities that are specifically designed for school board member and school board leadership. And so that item will be placed on our website tomorrow morning for everybody else to view as well. So just wanted the board and the public to be aware of that.
Yes, thank you. All right, our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. For my first item, I am seeking your approval of the personnel recommendations.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Malco. And I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. And then for my second item, I'd like to bring up Cassandra Cruz, principal from Coling Elementary, to review the elementary handbook updates.
A copy of it in the
They
packets?
received it in the board packet, yes.
Okay, so I'll go over the changes. There's a sheet up front that has bulleted points of the changes for the elementary handbook, and this was done with the principals of all 6 schools and assistant principals. Not too much this year. We did update all the links in the past. We've usually done a direct link to the actual document. But sometimes as those are updated, I found out that they weren't always working, so instead we just linked to the page that the student policies is on, and then from there you can pick the document you want. So that was updated throughout for that, as well as a food service item document that we wanted to reference. On page 9, we just changed one word from will to may be charged for Chromebook damage or lost chargers, just allowing for unusual circumstances and administrator discretion with that. Page 10, we updated the Section 504 compliance officer to Mrs. Becky Grimala. Page 11, we changed school messenger to parent square and updated e-learning for inclement weather days. Page 16, updated the link that was for the food service for the same reason I mentioned at the beginning. Page 16, just trying to get ahead of compliance with the Senate Bill 185 for student cell phones and personal devices in the classroom. We added that line. We discourage students from bringing cell phones and personal devices to school, and these items will not be permitted in classrooms unless approved by the administrator. The unless approved, we do have students with who monitor their diabetes on those devices. That's the only one I can think of at the time, but it does allow for something like that. And then page 20, we had to include our indoor air quality control coordinator, and that was updated to Mr. Ledger. Any questions?
Yes, I just had one, and that was on page 16, where it says we discourage students from bringing cell phones and personal devices. These items will not be permitted unless approved by the administrator. So the administrator has the authority to override the rules then?
So, yeah, we left that in. I know specifically the only circumstance that I can think of is like if a student has diabetes, they monitor that on their cell phones and their parents monitor.
Okay.
So that one specifically, I know that we would allow for something like that. I can't think of another unusual circumstance that any of our schools would be allowing that, but if something were to come up, that language is in there already. But for sure, for diabetes, I know at Coling we have several students that use
Right,
it.
and that makes sense now that
Yep.
I know that. Okay,
Just
thank you.
that, yep.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Primary Education, Dr. Bracy.
Thank you. Before I begin, I would just like to say Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of our teachers. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate all of you for everything you do. My first item is to request your approval for the professional leave request in your packets.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second?
second by Mr. Marshall. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. And our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Schuneman.
Thank you. For my first item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the professional leave requests that are included in your board packet.
So moved.
We have a motion by Dr. Malco and a
Second.
second by Mr. Marshall. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my second item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the field trip request also included in your board packet.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly, and I will second that. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my third and final item, I wanted to make the board aware that we have received our first request for a review of a library or classroom book, which now begins our procedure for the review of library or classroom books. So based on the procedure, we have a committee meeting this coming Friday to review the book and follow the steps as outlined in the procedure.
Excuse me, Mrs. Schuneman, would you be able to schedule Ashley Klein to come in and give us an update after she attends some Ready Northwest Indiana meetings? Or maybe somebody from central office attends, I don't know, but I'd like to know what's going on with Northwest Indiana Ready, or flip that around.
Yes, yes, and actually, I attend almost every time. Dr. Veracro attends almost every time.
Okay.
But yes, I can provide that whenever you'd like.
Yeah, it would be nice to know, because it used to be a big thing and we could read about it in the paper, but I never see much about it anymore. So I thought I would ask, since I see that somebody is attending it.
Yes, most recently, our last session, we had some representatives from the Commission of Higher Education. And so, you know, obviously the new diploma requirements are a hot topic right now. But there are times where there are different representatives from the workforce, higher ed, et cetera. And that's been our most recent meeting.
To speak to it, there hasn't been as much industry and manufacturing and business participation as there was pre-COVID. And so getting that relationship ramping back up is an important job for the organization. And then the other thing that will continue to follow is how much has the college and university level been included in the discussion? And if they have been, as I have asked Dr. Jenner, I'd like to see a statement from them with them weighing in on what they think, the strengths. In other words, we can go into the QR code and send in our comments. What were their comments? So we're waiting to hear that, and I think we have a chance to hear something about this next week at the State Board of Ed meeting. I think it'll be streamed by thousands.
Rocco, who is head of the Ready Northwest Indiana? That's still the region, right? But who's the chairperson of that?
The chairperson now is Amy Burke.
Where is she from?
She was a teacher at Portage and administrator at Hanover.
Oh, okay, so she's in charge of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Gramella.
Thank you. My first item is to seek your approval for the professional leave request that was included in your packet.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Malco. And I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My second item is to just update the board on a new grant opportunity from the Department of Ed. They have made funds available for a grant that would allow us to provide training to our paraprofessionals, specifically those who work with students with special needs. So school districts were able to apply for anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 to support training activities. We, due to the number of paraprofessionals that we have, applied for the maximum amount. I like to aim high. And I was able to send a survey out to our special education teachers to ask what needs they saw in the para population. So based on that, we included training to support positive behavior interventions, executive functioning, sensory and fine motor activities, and then supportive academic skills. So that was all included in our grant. The grants were due on Friday. They were a pretty quick turnaround because they would like for schools to be able to start planning this summer. So once we find out, if it seems that if you apply, you get it. But I'm just being a little cautious here. So once we find out if we got it, we will move forward with the planning.
And then may I assume that somehow that knowledge and information will trickle into the general ed parapros?
Right.
Somehow.
So we're limited with the grant because it's specifically to support students with special needs. But I would say the majority of our paraprofessionals have at least some part of their day working with special education. So we should be able to include most of them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Facilities, Mr. Ledyard.
Thank you, Mrs. Suze. My first item tonight is just to update the board on the capital projects, the first one being Bibbage. We do have an OAC meeting tomorrow morning, first Tuesday of the month. We are currently pouring some sidewalks and curbs. We should have those finished off end of the week or next week, weather dependent. We have all the rough in on the HVAC, electrical, and plumbing done above the ceiling in the cafeteria as well as the walls. We had our inspections on this above ceiling last week, and we had our wall inspections today, which we passed. So we're going to start drywalling those walls in the cafeteria here this week. The new walk-in cooler and freezer has been set in the cafeteria. We have all the walls framed in the new bathroom area that occupies the old classrooms 2 and 3, and we are roughing those in as well, and we should have the inspections early next week where the drywall guys can go right to that area there. And then, we're getting ready for this summer to do the inside of the existing building. So Allison and Ashley, we've kind of got a game plan together. We've been working with that, and we'll be ready to go as soon as school lets out. On the freshman center update, as I said at the last meeting, we are kind of doing some stuff behind the scenes in the mechanical rooms while the school finishes up. We've done all, as I said at the last board meeting, all the air handlers are set except for doing the cafeteria, which we can't do till school's out. I have met with Aaron and Richard, and we've got a game plan going for the freshman center classrooms we're going to have. Again, that's going to be a big project as soon as school's out, and I appreciate Aaron and Richard helping us out with that with the teachers. So we've got a game plan for that. So again, as soon as school's out, the week of June 3rd, we'll be hitting those classrooms pretty heavy. Any questions on the update?
So, Mr. Ledger? When, I think it was during spring break that you had to break that wall and put in the new restroom at Bibbage?
Yeah, we.
How did that go?
No, that was done at spring break. In fact, that's what I said, it's all framed. We're all framed there, and the wall's all cut, and we'll be drywalling there next week.
So it was smooth and easy?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, that's always, we never know, do
When
we?
it's planned.
Okay, thank you.
My next item is to seek your approval to award and execute change order number 3 to Larson Danielson Construction Company for the Bibbage Project Bid Package 8 General Trades in the amount, this is in the amount of $5,065. We are going to go ahead and provide new interior building signage. Allison asked me if we could for all the existing rooms to match the new signage, and this will come out of the project contingency.
Move. Okay, second.
Motion by Dr. Malco and a second by Mr. Marshall. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion
My
passes.
last item is to seek your approval to award and execute change order number 3 to Sweeney Electric Company for the Bibbage Building Project, Bid Package 11 Electrical, and this is to furnish and install 4 electric hand dryers that Dr. Malkow just asked me about in those bathrooms that we are framing. It called to be furnished by others, so I'm having Sweeney furnish these, and again, this will come out of the project contingency for $3,300.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly. Who said second? Dr. Malco was second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll move to our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Thank you. My only item tonight is to seek your approval for the donations that were included in your board packet.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly.
Second.
Dr. Malco, that was a second. So any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't think there's any public comments. Okay. So we'll move right into our board comments and consideration of future agenda items. Mr. Marshall.
Thank you. I think all of us realize with the retirements that we've seen tonight, we've lost a lot of quality individuals in the future, but we can also realize that we have people coming in and we keep fulfilling the slots they've paved the way for. So congratulations to all.
Awesome. Thank you. Mrs. Kelly?
Congratulations to all of our retirees. Hope you guys enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. Oh, is that it? Sorry. Shut you down. Mrs. Talon?
We had the opportunity to go to the art show this evening, and always it is astounding of the amount of talent that our students have here at the high school at Lake Central. So thank you, all the staff that put together and have worked so hard with the students as they presented their projects. They're phenomenal.
Thank you. Dr. Malco?
Yes, and I'd like to just ditto what everyone has said. Plus, I wanted to acknowledge, and I don't know, I was not able to get to the parade that you had for the special day, but I was able to go to the track meet that night. And that was pretty awesome, because, I mean, the crowd was so outstanding, they just stayed, and even though some of our little ones were confused if they should walk or run, or walk or run, the prompting was there, and the crowd was there, and they stayed to the very end and cheered everybody on. It was just so exciting. I just loved it now. Is that part of the buddies, the Best Buddies, or explain that to me?
So I'm not sure which event you were at. We do have, so we have two track teams. One is the Unified Track Team, which is through IHSAA. So that's a state-recognized high school sport where students with and without disabilities compete with each other and against each other. So we have that, and then we also have a Special Olympics track team that includes students down to like upper elementary school through high school. So we have two different track teams, but they both are involving students with disabilities.
Thank you. Is that it? Dr. Malco, I'm sorry, I was wondering if she was done. All right, so the last thing I have is Dollars for Scholars this Wednesday night. Our group will be giving away, and I know I'm a little short, $110,000 in scholarships. So all those seniors that applied, thank you. So we'll turn it over to board calendar of future activities, Dr. Veraco.
Thank you. Our next meeting is May 20th. And depending on the agenda, it may be here or in the K-Trap. And just to get it on the board's agenda, we are going to have a instructional piece in July, on July 15th, on referendum. And that'll be with our former consultant, and that'll be an education piece for the board.
And with that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Second. We are adjourned.